Good morning, and thank you all for coming. This press conference will not be interpreted for the deaf this morning. However, the YouTube post will have closed captioning on it. I'm Chip Black, Mayor of the town of Valdese, and the purpose this morning of this news conference is to express our opposition to Senate Bill 288, which was introduced by Senator Warren Daniel, and it would move the election of our municipal officials and school board to even years as part of the general election, as opposed to the current election cycle for our municipalities of odd years. It only affects the nonpartisan election of most Burke County mayors, councils, and the school board. We have a media release that has been provided, I think, to most of you that outlines the basis of our concerns. So let me just start by saying I think that my feeling is that we were ambushed by this piece of legislation. We did not ask for this change to our local charter, and to my knowledge, we have not had any conversations, at least at the town of Valdese, about this issue and whether we were for or against it. For small municipalities like my town of Valdese, the positions of mayor and of council are not famous, highly paid positions. For most of us, it's a labor of love. And it is difficult, it's a challenge to find quality people who are willing to put their name out there and participate in an election and serve in these positions. And these positions are really critical to our quality local government. And it's my opinion that we shouldn't do anything to make it more difficult or more expensive for our citizens to participate in our nonpartisan local elections. We have issues in my town of Valdese that are unique for our community. And we would prefer not to have those issues buried under the noise of a general election in which items and issues of national and state concern are being debated. We feel like that we would just get lost in that shuffle. And the same is true for our candidates who are running for election. We do not want our nonpartisan candidates for municipal offices in the town of Valdese to be at the bottom of a long ballot that includes state and national races. I can only speak for the town of Valdese, and I can say that our council is unanimous in its opposition to this Senate Bill 288. And I know that my fellow elected officials, fellow mayors, are up here this morning, and they have their own thoughts about it. So I'll turn the mic over to Mayor Ronnie Thompson from Morganton.
Thank you, Mayor Black. I just endorse everything just said by Mayor Black. Earlier this year, Morganton requested Senator Daniels to introduce a local bill making several changes in our city charter, none of which had anything to do with election dates or schedules. When Morganton sought his support to our local bill, Senator Daniel asked the city attorney if Morganton would also like to change to even year elections, and was expressly told no. Senator Daniel never contacted myself or any city council member about this issue before today. Morganton was completely surprised when Senate Bill 288 was introduced, and only found out about it after the fact through the city's lobbyists and the League of Municipalities. There's no reason why Burke County cities and towns should be singled out, yet no change anywhere else, even in Caldwell and Avery counties, which are also in Senator Daniels' district. Morganton did not request change in election dates and strongly opposes Senate Bill 288 or any similar legislation. Next, we have Danny Ritchie, Mayor of the town of Drexel.
Thank you, Mayor Thompson. Let me start by saying I have been a supporter of Senator Daniel. Will continue to be. Major concern, I would like to be able to do my job. His job is to represent me and my community. My job is to share the information and provide input. When denied the opportunity to provide that input, that's a cause of great concern to me. He is a duly elected and sworn representative, as am I. I would like to be able to go back to my board, discuss this, take consensus of the community, and then provide the input. This bill may very well be a wonderful bill. It may very well have some great information in it or some great talking points. But the fact that we were not allowed to have our input and told this would be the way it would go, have difficulty with that. That is the reason I'm here today. That is the reason I have talked with some of my board members, and we have objections to 288. Thank you.
Mayor Berry from Colony Springs.
My name is Johnny Berry. I'm Colony Springs, and we just found out about this yesterday, day before yesterday, and I'm very upset that we did not have an opportunity to discuss it in our council. We met for a budget hearing Tuesday night, and the press release that was sent out by the COG was given to each of our members that were there at the budget meeting, and strong opposition came from each one of them. We had no notification of any meeting to decide what the purpose of this issue was, or the Senate bill was, and we're strongly opposed to it.
Okay. Would you like to speak?
Sure. I'm Marla Thompson, Mayor of Longview. Even though Longview was not included in this, 25% of Longview is in Burke County. I'm here for the support of you guys, just to help out in any way that we can.
Mayor Hildebrand.
I'm Wendell Hildebrand, the mayor of Hildebrand, and we just, or I'm speaking for myself here, we feel that we are opposed to this because it would just lose our candidates in all the other shuffle of the many federal and state races. I don't want our council to be a partisan council. We work much better as we are, as nonpartisan, and that is just my feeling on the subject.
I'm Bob Benfield, Mayor of the great metropolis of Glen Alpine, North Carolina. I too support Senator Daniels, but I feel that he's remiss in this bill. I request that he withdraw it. Our board majority opposes the bill, and I personally oppose it. Thank you.
Are there any questions for any of us? Yes, ma'am.
Hi. How are
Please
you?
identify yourself.
Vanessa Leon with Spectrum News.
Okay.
So when I was told that this was going to happen today. Hello. Hey, Vanessa Leon with Spectrum News. So we did contact Senator Daniels. He did respond. We're going to meet after this, but I do want to tell you what he told Spectrum News yesterday. So Senator Warren said, the allegation in the press release that no one was notified is not completely true. I did discuss this bill a couple of weeks ago with the Morganton City Attorney, who said he was going to discuss it with the mayor. He never got back to me with any feedback from City Council. That is a quote from his email. So that'll be the first question. And then he said that it just makes good sense. It's something that should have been done years ago. In the election years, he talks about 2015, 2017, and 2019. He talks about voter turnout. He has voter turnout was just over 10%, 10%, and 12% in those years, versus 2018 voter turnout at 49% and 2020 at 76%. So he's referencing voter turnout in the even numbered years. And he also talks about the expense of holding a 3-week election for 10% countywide turnout. In odd years is $10 per voter. So he's just referencing how it would just make sense. And he says we need to have more of our citizens voting to decide leadership in our towns and cities, not less. So those are, and I can share with you guys the email, but I will be speaking with him on camera because he does want to reference this. So that is what he did respond to us. So if you guys want to respond to his response when we asked him about this.
I'll ask our city attorney to come forward. Louis, will you come forward and discuss the conversation you had with Senator Daniel?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to, let me remove my mask. I'd be happy to answer that question. First, the city of Morganton early this year requested Senator Daniel to introduce for us a local bill dealing with some charter amendments of the city's charter that the city council had discussed and requested, none of which have anything to do with elections, and frankly, which are non-controversial, and Senator Daniel agreed to introduce that bill and has done so for us. When I inquired with him, he raised the question with me whether Morganton would also like to amend its charter to go to even-numbered elections. And I said, no, we just want to run the amendments we've requested. And nothing further was done about that in our local bill. Our local bill, as introduced, it's now in the legislature, has nothing to do with elections. Subsequently, and some of you may be aware of this and some not, it became a news item that because of delays in the census, the redistricting that's required by law would not be possible in a timely manner for the elections this year, the municipal elections. There are many cities in North Carolina which have to redistrict. Therefore, those cities are going to have to delay their election. It was well known that the one possible answer from the legislature was to postpone all municipal elections to 2022. Now, neither Morganton nor any other town in Burke County is required to redistrict. Therefore, that is an issue that doesn't directly affect us at all. However, I was aware and talked to Senator Daniel about that very issue just a couple of weeks ago. Was he planning to support moving all local elections for 2021 to 2022? And he indicated he did think that was a good idea, although he didn't say that for certain. I expressed that Morganton would not be in favor of that, and there was no need to do that in Burke County. He said absolutely nothing at any time about any plans to introduce a local bill just for Burke County towns to change the election schedule. The bill that he introduced last week doesn't move the 2021 elections. It only moves future elections. And all I'm saying is, yes, I certainly discussed the concept with Senator Daniel of even-year elections, but nothing was said to me about a local bill just to deal with Morganton or the towns in Burke County. And I just want to make that clear that there was some discussion, but it had nothing to do with this bill. And neither I nor any of our elected representatives knew anything about this bill until after it was introduced.
Other questions? Other questions?
Chrissy Murphy at the News Herald. Louis, I'm sorry, I'm going to ask you to step back up one more time. I hope I've got a pretty quick question for you. Was that conversation by email, or was it over the phone? Was it in person? And if it was by email, can we get copies of those emails?
The conversations were over the phone. I'm trying to remember if there was any email. Certainly there was email about our local bill that was actually introduced. I sent a draft to Senator Daniel. I'm almost certain there was no email conversation or discussion about the even number election issue. There were phone calls.
And also, I guess for everyone here, I just want to make it clear and ask one more time, apart from Louis being asked by Senator Daniel about whether the city would be interested in moving its elections to even-numbered years, none of the rest of you were asked that question, correct?
That's correct.
No.
Any other questions? Well, we certainly do appreciate you coming this morning and being with us as we address this issue. So at this point, we shall declare our news conference over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.